I was out of town today and I had to drive all the way to another city, and it was 4 hours there, 4 hours to come back. And in the middle of that, I somehow caught a bad cold, so if my voice sounds terrible right now, that's why. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 67 of the Journey's anime titled Pikachu the Suspect just dropped, and in this episode, Officer Jenny visits Cerise Laboratories after there's been a wave of electricity thief incidents throughout Vermilion City. When they come to check all the Electric-type Pokémon in the lab to see if the culprit is there, they arrest Pikachu for the crime and take it in for questioning. Will Ash be able to clear Pikachu's name and find the true culprit? Let's find out. I have actually a pretty big problem with this episode, and it's the fact that it's 100% grade A filler. Why would I say that? Okay. The episode begins, Jenny comes to Cerise Laboratory, and the detective on this case of the electrical thief is Detective Decker. First of all, I'm not sure what the pun or joke in his name is supposed to be, because usually there is some, and usually someone on Twitter will figure it out and write it, but I couldn't find anything. So if I'm missing something, let me know in the comments. But he's supposed to be your clueless detective comedy relief character. And in this case, he has a sketch from what a bunch of witnesses said they saw, and the sketch looks like a Pikachu. So when he has all of the electrical Pokemon in Cerise Laboratory line up, he arrests Pikachu. He's like, oh, that's it. There's no questioning it. That's my police instincts, right? Ash tries to defend Pikachu, but you know, he's one of those detectives, so he takes Pikachu to the police laboratory. And actually, I will give this episode credit. So I didn't know about this, so shout out Dogasu Backpack for talking about this on Twitter, but in Japanese police dramas, there's apparently this trope where a detective will coax a suspect into confessing their crimes by giving them a pork cutlet bowl and talking about their mothers. And the Pokemon animes apparently used this in the past too. So that's what the scene of Pikachu, when he offers Pikachu the food eating, that's what it's supposed to be. But regardless, nothing happens here. Pikachu then feels electricity going off somewhere, so when they open the door, he runs off to the nearest house that had its electricity stolen, right? And since Pikachu was in the police station when this happened, Pikachu has an alibi, so he's no longer a suspect. That plot point is already finished. So logically, that would mean the second plot point is, well, if it's not Pikachu, who is it? And spoiler alert, it's actually not even Morpeko. It's Team Rocket, who thought that Morpeko wanted electricity because it's been eating all his food, and they're like, hey, it's electrical Pokemon, it eats electricity, which makes no sense. And then it turns out at the end of the episode, it doesn't eat electricity, so the entire episode was a waste of time. And that's my biggest problem with this episode. The plot that the entire premise is set up on ends up being, oh, well, it didn't matter, so let's just end it. And that's how the episode ends. This felt like one of those classic Pokemon filler episodes where the episode was there just to fill time to return back to the status quo. And you know what? That wouldn't even be bad if done properly, but, and this is the second big problem with this episode, is that half of this episode inside of this filler episode is filler. So Ash and Go, now that Pikachu is cleared, want to be a police officer and help the case, right? And they dress up as a police officer, and in their heads, they think they're like movie stars. They're catching criminals and, you know, they're catching suspects. But it turns out the day-to-day life of a police officer is a lot more mundane. And you know what? That's actually pretty funny. I actually appreciate them showing that. But just because I appreciate something doesn't mean I liked it, because Ash and Go being police officers and doing mundane job is another like 4-minute filler that ends with nothing except Ash and Go maybe realizing that Officer Jenny's job is a lot harder than they thought, I guess? Again, waste of time. And then strike 3 in this episode. So they're chasing this electrical thief down, but they just can't catch it in time. They always get there late. So they decide, you know what? Let's have Pikachu discharge some electricity at a house so that way the thief comes to them and then they could catch it, right? They go to Cerise's house, they have Pikachu run electricity, it's blaring all of the electricity in the house, and the electrical thief, who like I said with Team Rocket, come out. They steal the electricity and they get caught since Jenny and them are right there. And this is important. Jessie actually gets cuffed here by Jenny, like legit cuffed for being thieves. And Meowth just breaks it, which, what is Meowth's claw made of? Vibranium? How did he just shatter metal like that? That cuffing of Jessie and then Meowth shattering it and running away made me realize, hey, these guys aren't just joke criminals. They committed a legit felony here by breaking cuffs and running away recklessly in a car. That's a legit crime, and in my head I'm like, hold on, that is not cool. Then at the end, they give up, right? They get surrounded, they find out that Morpeko doesn't want to need electricity, they give the electricity back to Pikachu, and when they're surrounded by police, Ash just has Pikachu use Thunderbolt and they go blasting off, and no one ever says a word to Ash. No one says, hey Ash, you just stopped us from finishing an investigation that we've been going on the hunt for months. Instead, the episode ends with Pikachu getting all the credit, which he should, but that means that the entire conflict didn't matter. If the police don't care that Team Rocket, the thieves of the electricity, got away, then why should we? I don't know, it's just so weird. If I sound annoyed at this episode, it's just because I realized at the end of the episode that this episode was literally a waste of time. And the funny part is, I actually enjoyed watching the episode itself. Like, watching the episode, it was fun to watch the episode. But once my brain realized, like, hey, this is just all filler, my brain just became annoyed all of a sudden. It's not like anything important or anything of substance happened. Go didn't even catch a single Pokemon, so you can't even say, oh, that was at least a success here. I don't know, this is one of those episodes where I'd recommend just go and skip it. It's just not worth watching. The next episode, I'm so excited. Ash returns to Oaks Ranch for a brief reunion with his Pokemon, including his Infernape and Gary. This episode looks dope, I can't wait. But that is it for my review of episode 67 of the Journeys anime. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this episode. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRealPdGaming. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.